What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Wealth Journey episode. This is episode number 36. I'm excited to be here today. We're going to jump into this bonus that I got because I told y'all a few videos ago that I would be getting a bonus. It happened. On top of that, I also had some extra income come in from my merch brand, and I even had some income from my book. So adding all that fine stuff up, it came out to about $4,500 flat. And even though this bonus and this extra income and my side hustle income and all that stuff was a blessing, I had the hardest time figuring out what I was going to do with it because I still have real life responsibilities and business expenses. So we're going to break down exactly what I did with it. So I started off with my Webull account, $260.28, went straight into Webull. All I did was buy a share of Nvidia, and then I just left the rest of it to sit in there. So that way when it's Friday, which will be the end of November, when Friday hits and I get my next paycheck, that portion that's going into my Webull account is going to have an extra $89 that can go with it. Right now it's at $42,313.65. It has taken a beating throughout the last week or so, but the account is still looking nice and green and in the positive. But yeah, I left the $89.53 remaining just because I'm going to get paid in a few more days, and the money that I put with the $89 can buy me more shares. So that's my Webull account. I also tithed and sent my mom some money, so adding both of those numbers together, it came out to $553. And I've said this before on this channel, it's one of my favorite things to do as far as what I can do with my money. Giving, donations, sending money to the people that you love, that's the most incredible feeling in the world. And some people on this platform have had their opinions and things like that, but one thing I can't stress to you all enough is personal finances. That's a personal thing. And at the end of the day, we work hard to get our money. We do what we want to do with our money, especially if it's for the better good of the world. Why not? Rant's over. So I was going to wait till December 3rd to pay this credit card off, but I had the money right then, so I was like, screw it. $1,850. I'm looking at my screen because I want to make sure I get the exact number right. $1,850.34 got sent straight to my credit card. Paid that bad boy off. Your boy is no longer in credit card debt. My biggest thing about credit cards, I don't mind having big expenses on a credit card, but what I'm not going to do is let the time go by to where it's charging me interest. I'm going to pay that off as soon as possible every single time. It will be within the same 30-day period as everything else. I'm not about to be paying no interest. I'm sorry. And this part right here has nothing to do with my income, but I told y'all in a few videos, I think it was maybe 2 videos ago, where I said if something happens during the week where I don't spend the amount of money that I usually would inside of a week, I go ahead and save it or invest it. Well, that happened. So I have Muay Thai private sessions in addition to my Muay Thai class, and the private session got canceled because Coach went and flew to Arizona for some fights that are going on out there, which is cool. Hats off to him. But I was like, okay, well, that's $60 that goes back into my pocket. So instead of it just sitting here in this account, it's going into Bitcoin. So that's what I did. $60 went straight into Bitcoin. It's on a discount right now, and obviously it's a volatile asset, so that's where it went. But I also recognize that I'm gonna have to let that $60 cook for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna have to really sit into that account with the rest of my money that I have in Bitcoin for a few years to actually see any good return off of it. And I know and realize that. And I've gotten back into emailing my email list. I kind of spaced on it, and it was one of my favorite things actually about having my channel and having a platform, is having a dedicated list of people that I can always talk to, like literally on a daily basis. I kind of got away from that, especially when I took my break from YouTube earlier this year back in February. And so now I'm getting back into the full swing of YouTube entrepreneurship, and just being a business owner altogether. So I've gotten back into my email list. The reason I'm sharing that with you is because I did spend some money to go ahead and pay for my email marketing software that I've already been using, but I just upgraded the package because I'm almost at 500 email subscribers now. I need to make sure I keep expanding. And this same software helps me go ahead and build my website pages and everything else that I'm building in the background. So I just figured it'd be worth a shot. It's only like $10 a month, to be honest with you, so it's pretty good. What will I do with the rest of it? Probably going to put in the savings for right now. Black Friday and everything is coming up. Amazon has like a 2-week Black Friday sale, but really I'm not really checking for much on Amazon right now. I already have everything I want. So it's going to be more so about the people in my life that, maybe have birthdays coming up, or maybe it's for a Christmas present or something like that, or maybe they have an accomplishment coming up in their life. That's a completely different scenario. But honestly, if I'm being completely genuine and honest with you guys, I don't buy things like Christmas presents for a whole lot of people. Just a select few, and then the rest of my money goes into my pocket. And that's how I've done Christmas throughout my adult life. But with that said, I am open to taking advantage of the fact that Black Friday week / month is coming up. I say that because you got the week before Black Friday, the week of Black Friday, then you have Cyber Monday, then that gets extended through the next week. It might as well be a month. I'm not mad at it, but at the same time, I want to caution you all, because I've never had this problem, but I understand when people do have this problem, and it's when they get into a buying frenzy because they see a bunch of 50% off, 40% off, 70% off, and then next thing you know, you spent way more, like 10 times more than you would have spent if everything was at the regular price. So I will take advantage of it, but I'm only going to buy things that I truly want, or things that I know for a fact other people in my life want, that they've been saying that they've been wanting. Does that make sense? So you'll notice that I did not use this bonus to put $700 into my Roth IRA to go ahead and max it out. That's because I had a change of plans and a change of thought. I was like, you know what? I can just take my time with this Roth IRA. It's no rush to get it maxed out. I have $700 to go. We all know this. So I'm like, I'm gonna just wait until December and let my big paycheck, that's the paycheck that falls on the part of the month where I really don't have any expenses, like much at all. And so waiting on the time that my money has the most breathing room, that's when I'm gonna go ahead and do it then. And it'll be maxed out mid-December. My Roth IRA will be maxed out for the second year in a row. I'm super excited and proud about that, but I don't want to get ahead of myself, and I don't want to rush. I want to pace myself. Even with my bank account having the money to do it right now, you never know when something might come up. And it doesn't even have to be a negative thing. It could just be things like opportunities, events, or just money that helps you get ahead in life. And so it doesn't happen as often as I'd like, to where I come into a bunch of extra money. So I'm like, you know what, let me take a seat back on this one. Let me just let it ride. And if anything, I'll have extra money at the end of the year that can then go towards my Roth IRA at the beginning of next year. I know you technically have until April for it to count as the year of your Roth IRA. So for example, 2025, you can contribute to that until April 2026. And then you can start contributing. But I don't like doing it that way. I like looking at the calendar year. So the way I look at it, I give myself until December every single year to go ahead and max out my Roth IRA. And that keeps me accountable, and it keeps me in a place where I can always pace myself and see if I'm on track or off track. If I give myself until April, I'm giving myself way too much leniency, but that's just where I am right now in my financial life. And by the way, the amount you can contribute to your Roth IRA is going to change next year. Right now it's at $7,000 to max it out, but next year it'll be $7,500 to max it out. So I'm going to have to change my strategy a little bit so that I make sure I stay on track throughout the whole year, and maybe even max it out a little early. You will also notice in this video, I did not talk about my 401k. That's because I'm not contributing to my 401k at this moment in time. People think I'm crazy for doing it, but look, I'm good at math. And if you look at the record of my Webull account versus my 401k, you'll see that my Webull account outpaces it by a very, very, very big amount. And it's outpacing my 401k even with the match. So much that if you were to put them side by side, which I have owned both accounts for about the same amount of time, if you put them side by side and ask the question, which one gets to $1 million faster, the answer is my Webull account gets to $1 million faster. How much faster? 4.3 years faster, based on how they're performing right now. And I understand you can't predict the future based off of past returns. I understand. But there's a saying, the past doesn't necessarily repeat itself, but it does rhyme. And when the markets hit a low and all these other things, I'm sharing my wealth journey right here for you all to see it. I'm not just twiddling my thumbs or like just looking back and wondering what's going to happen. I'm like, okay, cool. The market's down. Put more money inside of those winning investments, not just any investment, but the winning investments that are within my Webull account. And things like that make it catapult much higher, much faster too. And that's largely why my account is up over 100%. And so I'm just saying I have a lot of faith in my investing skill. And if it doesn't work out, then I suppose we'll all learn a very valuable lesson. But the thing is, I'm not telling you to do this, and I'm not advising anyone to do this. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't suggest anyone that I know or care about to do this, because this is a skill set thing. If someone did have the skill set, it would be a different story. But you have to have a very unique skill set to be able to pull something off like that. Now, I also will preface my message by saying this, and perhaps I'll make a whole video about it just so I can break down the math for you and show you exactly what it is that I'm talking about, so you know I'm not just some guy on the internet talking. But right now, if I were able to contribute the 8% of my salary just to max out the employer match contribution and put the exact amount of money that I want to put in my Webull account every single month, which happens to be a little bit over $700 for the Webull account, then trust me, I would be doing both. But right now, I'm like, man, I'm putting my money everywhere else, worry about everything else, and it's fine. Like, it's my priorities, it's my financial life, right? Like, I want to prioritize things like my Roth IRA and my emergency fund and my life goals and things like that in my business. That's completely understandable. But I don't want to neglect my highest returning and fastest growing assets. You know what I mean? And so therefore, I'm putting a bunch of money into it. And it's not to say that, oh, my 401k doesn't matter. No, I thought about this logically. I built my 401k to 6 figures first, and it's honestly probably going to hit 150 sooner than later, to be perfectly honest, without me doing anything. It's at 120 something right now. We all know how the market acts, and so it's probably not going to take super long for it to get to 150. So that can sit and grow. It already has a bunch of money in it. That money's working for me, and it's going to compound on its own anyway. If I didn't touch it until I was 59 and a half, I guarantee you it would hit $1 million by then. So that right now is at least my worries, and that's my thought process. But yes, if I could do them both at the same time, I completely would. No question. But that's not where I'm at right now. And perhaps next year things will change to where I am doing both of them again, but I'm going to make sure I hit my goal for what I can put into my Webull account before I turn the 401k back on. But that's just my personal opinion. If you feel that that's crazy or stupid even, that's okay. You're not going to hurt my feelings, I promise. I'm going to keep sharing this on YouTube and keep showing you. And the crazy thing is, one thing that I understand, I watched this podcast called Diary of a CEO, and I was just telling my Wealth Journey Collective group about this on Saturday morning. This guy, his name is Stephen Bartlett, he interviews, the top of the top people. I'm talking billionaires, I'm talking the people top in their field. I'm CEOs, scientists, specialists in any field you can think of, whether it's military, whether it's healthcare, whether it's tech. This guy has it going on. And he's pretty young too, he's like 31. But anyway, he interviews these really successful people, and I'm talking, they go on for hours. He even had Mr. Beast up there, and more recently, he had Kevin Hart up there, and I just watched that. And one thing I realized from watching all of them for so long, just on his podcast, because I've been following him for a while, the successful people of this world who have extraordinary results do things differently. They go against the grain, they go against the common advice, right? They go against everything you've been taught in life. And when things in life get hard, they just become tougher, more resilient individuals and get even more hungrier for that success and keep going. Even when things just look hopeless, they keep going. Whereas common advice will tell you, all right, you need to sit down, you need to relax, you need to quit that. That's not good for you. Like, they go against all of those odds. They put themselves into a mental place where they act in a way that contradicts human nature. And so all I'm saying with that is, sometimes you have to do different things. Now, it has to be calculated and logical, right? But you have to do different things sometimes. We're not chasing a pipe dream here. I'm not just doing things just because, I'm trying to have shock value. When I do things, I have thought it through. I've thought about it over and over and over again. I might have even lost sleep, because if you didn't know, I really don't like going to sleep. I love being awake, and I'm excited about life all the time. And so I want to always work on my craft. I always want to just have that fulfillment in life. Like, I genuinely just love life. And so before I go to bed, I think about the goals I want to reach in life, and I plan for those goals. And sometimes what should have been a 10-minute session of me planning and thinking and writing stuff down turns into a few hours. So anything you see on the channel, mistake or not, you know what I'm saying? And if it is a mistake, I will be the first to admit that I made a mistake so you don't make the same one. But mistake or not, I've thought it through. I've thought about it. I've written it down. I've prayed about it. All that good stuff. But if you truly break down what I'm saying mathematically, the math checks out no matter which way you look at it. And if we look at people like the Warren Buffetts of the world, he says diversification is for people who don't know what the heck they're doing. He doesn't say it in those words, but those are Reggie's words. That's how I'm phrasing what he said. I'll put the actual quote somewhere up here so you can read it. You can pause the video and read that if you want. But the key to wealth, especially when it comes to the stock market, is hyper concentration. And if you take a good look at my Webull account, I'll put that back on the screen for you. It is hyper concentrated. Am I taking a risk? Yeah, but I'm also young and like nowhere near retirement. I don't plan on touching this money, but it's good to know that, hey, I have money inside this account, right, that is owned by me, and all I have to do is click a few buttons to have access to it. So if I ever need to cash out some investments because I'm in a pinch for cash or something like that, I can liquidate almost immediately and have that money in my account within not too long, like a couple of days maybe. If I call up my 401k to access the 6 figures that are in there that I worked hard for, by the way, they'll give me a hard time. And they'll tell me at the end of the day that I cannot withdraw any money unless I'm 59 and a half or going through a hardship. And ain't neither one true. And I'm definitely not going to be 59 and a half for quite a while. 29 and a half years to be exact. So that is why I made the choice that I made. And don't get me wrong, I almost talked myself out of it a good 3 times before I actually did it. But, you know, when thoughts cross my mind and then they stay there and then I can't stop thinking about them, that's usually life's way, more or less, God's way of saying, look, you need to do this. That's how I take it, because every time it's happened in my life and I've done the action behind it, good things have came from it. And I mean very good things. So everything I do on this channel you may or may not agree with, that's cool. Look at the things you do agree with and see how they add value to your life. And for things that you don't agree with, you don't have to do them. I mean, there's people that I would listen to when it comes to personal finances or just any type of content here on YouTube where I'd be like, I agree with this, but I don't agree with this. You have to do what floats your boat. You get what I'm saying? What I do might not work for you, but we're all different individuals, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But anyway, I appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for watching this video. Give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure you stay tuned to these videos, because every video that I make on my wealth journey is literally a building block. You're watching me build $1 million from the ground up. I wish I would have been able to capture on video what it was like to go from 0 to 100,000. But since I didn't think to do it back then, what I did was I went ahead and made a video that talks about what my journey looked like from going like negative 32,000 to 100,000. And that explains my journey step by step. You can watch that video right here.